Hello everyone. So in our last class we have already discussed about number 1 the formulas from trigonometry, number 2 the formulas from calculus, and number 3 the formulas from logarithm. These things are done. Differential calculus, integral calculus is done. I have given you a formula from progression also, that is the sum of the AP matlab arithmetic progression, and sum of the GP, that is in case of geometric progression. So these things are already done. So this is about basic mathematics. So today we will start our first chapter, and the first chapter is about physical world. Okay, the first chapter that we will discuss, it is physical world. So what is there in physical world? So I already told you guys, मैंने बोला था कि to study about the physical world chapter, because there is nothing in physical world. There is some name of the scientist, when they born, उन लोगों ने क्या क्या रिसर्च पेपर किया था, वही सब है फर्स्ट चैप्टर में. ठीक है. सो इन फर्स्ट चैप्टर जो इम्पोर्टेंट है वही मैं अभी डिस्कस करूँगा. जो इम्पोर्टेंट टॉपिक था वो बेसिकली था टाइप्स ऑफ फोर्सेस. ओके, सो द चैप्टर इज physical world. I will finish this chapter within this class itself. Okay, so physical world. So in physical world we will discuss only about types of forces. बाकी सब तुम लोग खुद पढ़ लेना. ठीक है, कौन सा साइंटिस्ट का कब जन्म हुआ था, कब वो लोग मर गए, ठीक है, क्या क्या रिसर्च पेपर किया था, वो सब पढ़ लेना और याद रखना अगर इफ़ यू वांट. ठीक है. सो we will now discuss basically types of forces. So what do you mean by force? So in Newton's laws of motion I will go in details about force. Now अभी हम लोग इतना डिटेल्स पे नहीं जाएंगे, but you guys know force is something which can cause a motion in a body which is at rest. Number 1, force can change the force can bring a moving body to rest. Force can cause a motion on a stationary object, and force can change the direction of motion of a moving object. So you know about force. So what are the different types of forces that is available? So the first force is your gravitational force. So the first kind of force is the gravitational force. You studied in class 9. Okay, after gravitational force second to ki asile, second to ase hoise electromagnetic force. Moi jam baru details ot. So second to hoise electromagnetic force. Third to hobo strong nuclear force. Strong nuclear force. And fourth to hobo weak nuclear force. Okay. So now we will go in details about each and every force. First one is number 1 that we are going to discuss now, that is gravitational force. So what is gravitational force? You know that every object in our universe attract every other object. Okay, so from the gravitational force, every object in the universe every object in the universe attracts every other object. Okay, every object in the universe attracts every other object. So what is the formula of gravitational force? You know, if there are two particles having masses m1 and m2 and separated by a distance r, then gravitational force is directly proportional to the product of the mass of the two body and inversely proportional to the square of the distance. So F is proportional to m1 m2 by r square. From here we can write F equal to z m1 m2 by r square. So this is the formula of gravitation. Since formula of gravitation follows 1 by r square law, so this is also known as those forces which obey this rule, that is F is proportional to 1 by r square. This is known as inverse square law. Inverse square law. Remember, inverse square law. Inverse square law matlab if the force is proportional to or inversely proportional to square of the distance. So this is the gravitational force. Okay, what is the value of z? This is 6.67 into 10 to the power minus 11 Newton meter square per kg square. So from the equation it is clear that the force of gravitation is very weak. So what is the first property of gravitation? It obeys inverse square law. This is the first one. Number 2, it is a weak force. Why? Because the value of z is very small. Mass to itna bada nahi hoga, and r is also very small. So this is a very weak force. Okay. For example, in this room, suppose right now I am at this position and this is the wall. So the wall is attracting me. क्या मैं wall के पास जा रहा हूँ? मैं wall टूर उसरत गए ऐसो नहीं की. तारू मास आसे, मोनो मास आसे. तो wall टू एक ही कोड़ी ऐसे. मुक तानी ऐसे. तो मैं की wall टूर उसरत गए ऐसो नहीं की नाई. But if I release the pen from here, मैं जदी यार pra pen to release कोड़ी दियो, pen to तल फाले जाबो. क्यों? Pen टूर मास की मान बहुत कम. किंतु याक कुने तानी से आठ है तानीबो. Why art will pull it? Because art has a huge mass. Okay? art का mass कितना होता है? बहुत ज़्यादा. So in that case we can experience the force. So it obeys inverse square law. It is a weak force. And what is the range of this force? Range up to infinity. Sun is attracting us. Sun कितना दूर पे है? बहुत दूर पे है ना? तो the range is up to infinity. So the range is up to infinity. इसका रेंज कहाँ तक है? द रेंज इज अप टू इन्फिनिटी. ओके, अच्छा. सो दिस इज अबाउट ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्स. ओके, फॉर्मूला, द ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्स का डेफिनेशन एंड सम प्रॉपर्टीज. ठीक है. रेंज इज वेरी अप टू इन्फिनिटी. It is a weak force and it obeys inverse square law. Done. Acha. After this, we will go for electromagnetic force. You will get in details about electromagnetic force in class 12. Class 12 or ইয়ার উপর একদম ডিটেইলছত পাবা. ফার্স্ট ইয়ারত হিমান নোপোৱা. বাট মই অলপ হলেও কৈ থৈ দিওঁ why the force is called as electromagnetic. ইয়াৰ পৰা যেতিয়া 1 মাৰ্কৰ কোৱেশ্চন আহিব সব এনেকুৱা টাইপৰে আহিব. ओके, इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक माने विद्युत चुम्बकत्व बल. सो इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक एट इज इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक फोर्स. अच्छा, व्हाई इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक? व्हाई नॉट इलेक्ट्रिक फोर्स एंड व्हाई नॉट मैग्नेटिक फोर्स? नाउ लिसन, इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड एंड मैग्नेटिक फील्ड, दे आर एक्चुअली रिलेटेड. Okay, electric field and magnetic field, they are actually related to each other. That is why this is known as electromagnetic field. It means इसका बारे में पूरा सेकेंड ईयर में डिटेल्स पे मिलेगा. It means if you have a variable electric field, then you will get a magnetic field also. Okay, so electric field and magnetic field, they are actually related to each other. That is why this type of force is known as electromagnetic force. So you know that the like pole repel and unlike pole attracts. Okay, একে ধর্মী আধানৰ মাজত আকৰ্ষণ আৰু বিপৰীত ধৰ্মী আধানৰ মাজত নহয় একেধৰ্মী আধানৰ মাজত কি বিকৰ্ষণ আৰু বিপৰীতধৰ্মী আধানৰ মাজত আকৰ্ষণ means like charges repel and unlike charges attract similarly like pole repel and unlike pole attract ঠিক আছে this is known as electromagnetic force okay and the force is given by a scientist whose name is Coulomb so in his name the force is known as Coulomb's force or Coulomb's law so what does Coulomb's law says details you will get in second year okay so Coulomb's law kya kehte hain dekho first in electromagnetic force ami ki likhim ami likhim je like charges repel and unlike charges attract you can say like pole also okay pole mane meru acha so here force or definition to ki hobo iska force ka definition that is the force of attraction or repulsion between any two charges is directly proportional to the product of the two charges and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them okay and this law is known as Coulomb's law this is known as ये किसका लॉ है Coulomb's law okay so if we represent suppose यहाँ पे एक चार्ज है this is charge is represented by Q you got in class 10 Q1 Q2 and suppose the separation is R this is similar to your gravitational force so then F is proportional to product of the two charges and F is also proportional to square of the distance in between them so this is almost similar to your gravitation in gravitation ये क्या था simply mass था अभी यहाँ पे charge बन गया है so if I combine these two then what we will get F is proportional to Q1 Q2 by R square from here we can write F equal to constant K Q1 Q2 by R square so this is Coulomb's law details कब मिलेंगे हम लोगों को कब मिलेगा HSS सेकेंड ईयर पे मिलेगा ठीक है अब देखो ये K का वैल्यू कितना है 9 into 10 to the power 9 न्यूटन मीटर स्क्वायर पर कूलम स्क्वायर अच्छा प्रॉपर्टी क्या है देखो it also follows 1 by r square law na so it obeys inverse square law so ये भी inverse square law को follow करता है ठीक है अच्छा if there are two north pole then you can experience the force of repulsion between two north pole it means electromagnetic force is not so weak it is a strong force so number 2 it is a strong force not like gravitational force so it is a strong force and about कितना टाइम स्ट्रॉन्गर है एज कंपेयर टू ग्रेविटेशनल 10 to the power 36 times stronger than gravitational force. Okay, और range कितना होगा? Range is also up to infinity. Okay, if you place a strong magnet at far distance apart, then due to that magnet we can feel the force of attraction or repulsion at this position. Condition is that the magnet has to be very, very strong. Okay, so the range of this force is up to infinity. Okay, so this is about electromagnetic force. And why the term electromagnetic? Because they are inseparable. You cannot separate electric field and magnetic field. क्यों? सेकेंड ईयर में पढ़ेंगे, ठीक है, इतना डिटेल्स में अभी हम लोगों को नहीं चाहिए यहाँ पे. अच्छा, देन नेक्स्ट वन इज स्ट्रॉन्ग न्यूक्लियर फोर्स. तो इन क्लास 9 you have studied structure of atom. Okay, class 9 তোমালোকে structure of atom পঢ়িছা নহয়, পৰমাণুৰ গঠন. Okay, পৰমাণুৰ গঠন কি আছিলে তাত? So in structure of atom you got the ideas about the atom. Okay, how atom is formed. So you know, so the third force is strong nuclear force. So in structure of atom you got that inside the atom at center there is a positively charged object. And what is this object? This object is known as nucleus. So that is why it is positive. Surrounding the nucleus there are some orbit, and in the orbits electrons are revolving. So this is nothing but nucleus. Aru nucleus tur bhitorot ki thake? Proton means positive, aru logot ki thake? Neutron. So proton plus neutron together form the nucleus. So inside the nucleus proton is tightly bounded. Proton and neutron is tightly bounded. So can you imagine? We know that the force of attraction is there within within positive and negative charge only. But inside the nucleus, the proton and neutron, one being positive, another being neutral, they are so tightly bounded that the separation of or the breaking of nucleus is very, very difficult. So that is a kind of special type of force which is in between proton inside the nucleus, because you imagine nucleus is very, very small. It is almost kitna? I think it is as per the research it is only 0.6%. मतलब एटॉम का जितना साइज है उसका 99.4% क्या है? इलेक्ट्रॉन्स. ओके, मतलब इलेक्ट्रॉन्स कितना जो उसका स्पेस है उसका 0.6% इज ऑक्युपाइड बाय द न्यूक्लियस. तो कैन यू इमेजिन how small the nucleus is? Okay, so inside the nucleus there are lots of proton. If you imagine sodium, how many protons will be there? 11. How many neutrons will be there inside the nucleus? Sodium or jodi moi structure to sound, sodium kiman asile 23. Here number of atomic chemical likhim Na. So the proton kiman ase 11. So neutron kiman thakibo 23 minus 11 is equal to 12. So inside the that tiny nucleus, 11 numbers of proton and 12 number of neutrons are there. So inside the nucleus there is a force of attraction between proton and proton. There is a force of attraction between proton and neutron. There is force of attraction between even neutron and neutron also. So that is a kind of God's gifted force, and that is known as your strong nuclear force. That force is very, very strong, and this is the strongest of all. Okay, so now we will go for strong nuclear force. So what we will write? That inside the nucleus comma protons and neutrons are tightly bounded, okay, are tightly bounded, and we require an extremely heavy force to break it. So strong nuclear force is the strongest of all. It is the strongest force, ओके बट देखो आउटसाइड द न्यूक्लियस क्या ये स्ट्रंग न्यूक्लियर फोर्स हमें दिखाई देगा आमी যদি নিউক্লিয়াসটোৰ বাহিৰত যাও ইয়াৰ বাহিৰত কিবা আছে জানো নিউক্লিয়াৰ ফোর্স নাই সো দ্য রেঞ্জ ইজ উইদিন দ্য নিউক্লিয়াস অনলি নিউক্লিয়াস ইজ ভেরি ভেরি স্মল সো দ্য রেঞ্জ ইজ very very small within the nucleus only. So these are the properties. Range is very very small and it is within the nucleus only. एंड न्यूक्लियस का साइज होता है ऑलमोस्ट 10 to the power minus 15 मीटर. ओके अच्छा दिस फोर्स ये क्यों होता है दिस फोर्स इज ड्यू टू द दिस फोर्स इज ड्यू टू द फोर्स ऑफ अट्रैक्शन दिस फोर्स इज ड्यू टू द फोर्स ऑफ अट्रैक्शन between proton number 1 due to the force of attraction between proton and neutron and due to the force of attraction between neutron and neutron. This is known as PP force, this is known as PN, this is known as NN force. Okay, so this is about strong nuclear force. Okay, so I have mentioned some points, try to remember all the points because this chapter is nothing about so much physics, इसमें इतना physics नहीं है, ठीक है. This is from structure of atom. अच्छा the fourth one जो अभी हम लोगों को समझ में नहीं आएगा क्यों क्योंकि this is about weak nuclear force and you will get in details about weak nuclear force in second year. There is a chapter called atoms and nuclei, so in nucleus you will get it in details, but I have to tell you something about weak nuclear force. So I think you know about some radioactive element. তোমালোকে radioactive elementor নাম শুনিছা নহয় radioactive মানে কি যেবিলাক আমাৰ তেজস্ক্ৰিয় মৌল যেনেকুৱা ৰেডিয়াম আছে some example of radioactive elements are for example radium thorium like this. Okay, so radioactive elements বিলাকে কি কৰে নিজে নিজে হিহঁতৰ ৰিএকশন বিলাক হৈ থাকে means they emit energy spontaneously. এতিয়া সেই যেটো এনাৰ্জি এমিট কৰিব তাত different ways আছে. One is known as alpha decay, one is known as beta decay. আকৌ বিটাৰ দুটা পাৰ্ট আছে এটা বিটা প্লাস decay এটা বিটা মাইনাস decay সব সেকেন্ড ইয়াৰত পাবা এটা হৈছে গামা decay. ওকে সো ইন বিটা মাইনাস decay যেটো বিটা মাইনাস decay হ'ব সো ইন বিটা মাইনাস decay due to the emission of one particle that is known as electron and due to the emission of another particle which is known as neutrino we will get weak nuclear force. Okay, so this is इस पे कोई इतना बोलने के लिए कुछ है नहीं. This is about weak nuclear force. Actually this is the structure of atom. Whatever the atom is, radioactive भी हो सकता है नहीं भी हो सकता है. तो in case of radioactive during beta minus decay an electron will try to move out from its orbit, then the nucleus will attract it, na? So that force of attraction in between the nucleus and the electron is known as weak nuclear force. Okay, so in your textbook they have mentioned a small paragraph regarding weak nuclear force. अगर मेरा पास है तो मैं ये कह देता हूँ. ओके, जस्ट ए मिनट. क्या पैराग्राफ है? So you will get a comparison table about all the forces in your textbook. हाँ, एक टेबल मिलेगा. So उस पर क्या होगा कि they will compare each and every force. So you just go through that table. If possible, we will try to provide it in the group, and you simply discuss about all the forces. Regarding weak nuclear force, there is a small paragraph consisting of 4 or 5 lines, that it is due to the emission of electron and neutrino during beta decay. It is a kind of small force. The range is little bit bigger than the strong nuclear force. These are the datas given. इस points में हम लोगों का पास discuss करने के लिए फ़िलहाल कुछ भी नहीं है, because beta decay we will discuss it in the second year. Simply you go through that paragraph. Okay, simply you go through that paragraph about weak nuclear force. Okay, so with this, and one more thing that is very very important, exam में यही आते हैं कि you compare all the forces, what are the different types of forces, and arrange all the forces in the order of increasing their ascending order. तो सबसे weak कौन होगा? Gravitational force. उसका बाद weak कौन होगा? Weak nuclear force. उसका बाद weak कौन होगा? Electromagnetic force. और सबसे strong कौन होगा? Strong nuclear force. So this is the question, that what are the different types of forces, and arrange the forces in the order of their increasing order or descending order. कभी कभी ये भी आते हैं कि write a table comparing all the forces, then you have to draw the table and write the table available in your textbook. एंड कभी कभी ये भी आता है कि ये जो वीक न्यूक्लियर फोर्स है वो क्यों अराइज होता है, देन यू हैव टू राइट इट इज़ ड्यू टू द एमिशन ऑफ एन इलेक्ट्रॉन एंड न्यूट्रिनो इन बीटा माइनस डीके. दिस इज द सिंबल बीटा. सो इन बीटा माइनस डीके व्हाट टाइप ऑफ पार्टिकल विल बी इजेक्टेड? इलेक्ट्रॉन एंड न्यूट्रिनो. अब न्यूट्रिनो क्या होता है? न्यूट्रिनो दे आर चार्जलेस एंड मासलेस पार्टिकल हैविंग ओनली स्पिन, अप स्पिन एंड डाउन स्पिन. अभी स्पिन क्या है? दैट यू विल गेट इन केमिस्ट्री. ओके, इन स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ एटॉम, स्पिन क्वांटम नंबर, मैग्नेटिक क्वांटम नंबर, एजीमुथल क्वांटम नंबर, देयर यू विल गेट. ओके, so in beta minus decay, due to the emission of electron and neutrino, we will get weak nuclear force. So that is all about this chapter. बाकी जो साइंटिस्ट का नाम है, कब उन लोगों ने जन्म लिया था, कब उन लोगों का डेथ हुआ, क्यों डेथ हुआ, क्या क्या उन लोगों ने डिस्कवरी किया था, ये सब तुम लोग पढ़ लेना फ्रॉम द टेक्स्ट बुक. ओके, कुछ नहीं है वहाँ पे, नथिंग फिजिक्स इज देयर. मुझे बोलने के लिए वहाँ पे कुछ नहीं है. ठीक है, मैं कबोलगिया एक्वे नहीं, सिंपली यू गो थ्रू द लाइन्स. So in the next chapter we will study about units and measurement. In our next class we will go for units and measurement. That is also not directly from physics. Actually physics will start from your third chapter, which is motion in a straight line. Okay, but next chapter it will be our units and measurement. We have completed basic mathematics, we have completed physical world. Next it will be units and measurements. Okay, so ये chapter तुम लोग complete कर लेना. Thank you.